you. Today we are going to be reviewing Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi. I hope I'm saying her name right. I'm going to tell you everything I think about this New York Times bestseller. But first, I want to ask you guys to, participate in the house rules here. So there's a couple things you need to know. This page is absolutely a hobby page, and so in order to get it up to where you get a little change, I need my community to help me out with likes, comments, subscribing. All of those things really help boost my performance and allows YouTube to know that I'm here doing awesome work. So if you think I'm doing something awesome and you want me to get a little reward for that, go ahead and press the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe if you want to. Other thing I want you to know is this hoodie that I'm wearing is a part of my own clothing line. It says your profits will profits. I totally believe in that. I am manifesting abundance in my life for 2020 all the way through. And if so you are doing the same, you want to get down with the winning team, go ahead, click the link in my description box and get you a hoodie. I have this plus a ton of other designs that you can choose from, and they are designed by me. So if you want to support me and help me, go ahead and get that. Also, my book, Fuzzy Socks, is here. I have them on hand, so shipping is so much faster now. If you want to get a copy of the book, this picture book is also on sale in the description box below. Without further ado, let's talk about Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi. So Homegoing, just to kind of give you a brief synopsis of the work, it follows the lineage of one woman, and she has two daughters, and it goes through about 8 or 9 generations on both lines. So she has two daughters. One ends up living as a part of she married the British colonialist back in colonial times. The other one is captured and is entered into the slave trade, and you see the differences between their lineages, how they intersect, how they cross, how they both experience the loss and love. And it's really moving. In fact, I would say the one thing I really felt when reading this was I felt sad. I felt sad when the book is steeped in realism. So as she talks about the different generations and goes through the different characters, she also talks about different periods of actual history. So we look at how slavery happened, how the Asantes and Afantes fought. We look at the Great Migration. We look at the Gold Coast. We go through redlining. We go through heroin in Harlem. We go through the jazz scene. We go through passing for white. All of the things, prison, convict leasing, all of these things, right? And so when I'm reading that, and this is the part of my history as a black woman, it's really sad. It's just a really sad thing. But I was also moved by so much history and love and unconditional love that kept manifesting itself through each generation. And it really made me want a family. It made me want to have some kids. I don't have any kids, but it just showed the importance of family and how our lineages live on past us, and how our spirits kind of carry on through our children and their children and their children. And it was really, really deep and rich. She did great. She did great. That's the next question. It says, how do you feel about how the story was told? She did so good. There was a couple times where I was like, wait, tell me more about this character. I want to know what happens next with this particular character. But she moves on to the next lineage, the next character. And it is a commercial length book, so it's only 300 pages. And so her being able to fit in that much depth and detail in 300 pages is beautiful, and she's amazing. This woman is amazing. I thought the characters were so rich in detail, so rich in thought. When they felt lost, I felt lost with them. And even though you only get to see the characters briefly, you may get 20 pages with the character, you still find yourself really feeling for them and feeling attached to them. I especially felt for Effia. I especially felt for Aquoa, who had the horrible dreams. Essie, Sunny, Willie. Oh my God, Willie's story was so sad. And I guess it's because it's something I see more often in my own generation. I see it happen a lot. It was sad to watch what she went through. So I thought that was so interesting. What part stood out to me most of all was learning about the wars between the Asantes and the Fantes earlier, like pre-colonialism, because it really helped me have an understanding of how things kind of lost control and how things kind of spiraled away. It's like things fall apart. And so this book actually complemented Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe, because it really kind of fills in the gaps, things I didn't quite understand, takes me further out of the missionary style and shows me what happens as a result. So it really reminded me of that, but also it reminded me of Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man, because of the way she trajects her work through different periods of time, chronicling the Black experience. Exactly what Ralph Ellison does, except he does it only for America. She does it between America and Africa, and so that makes it really, really detailed. Some of the themes that really stood out to me in the book. So I really felt that theme of loneliness, of loss, of suffering, right? That feeling of loss, that feeling of loneliness, that feeling of sadness, of seeing all that you've given up, all that you've sacrificed, and still not having what you truly desire. But I also felt this underlying theme, this could stay current throughout the whole work, of love, right? Each character, no matter how hard the difficulties were, no matter what the world was throwing at them, because each generation had its own struggle to overcome, they all found a way to find love in their life and invite love in their life. And oh my God, that is beautiful. And that is just a good idea, you know? Like, I think sometimes we get so caught up in what we don't have and what things we want to gain and the material things of the world. But in this book, it really kind of anchors us back to our deeper connections, which is love, which is family, and which is forgiveness. And I thought she did so good. Have I said that enough? That she did so good? Because she did so good, okay? The ending, perfection. The ending was well, maybe I'm saying this wrong thing, but the ending is what I wanted to happen. I wanted the two lineages to meet, right? And reconnect. And we saw that with the last two characters who are said to be like in the 2000s, like they're in the current time. The two meet. They don't know that they share this lineage, but they meet and they go to Ghana together. And I was just like, yes, he goes home. You know, he goes home and he's reconnected with his ancestors. And I was just so happy for that. I don't know much about this author as far as who she is. I did read her little like bio, which I think it just told me what school she went to, and that she had a couple fellowships. So yeah, she was born in Ghana, raised in Huntsville, Alabama. This is her debut novel. She received the PEN Hemingway Award and the National Book Critics Circle John Leonard Award. She has a BA in English from Stanford and an MFA from the Iowa Writers Workshop. So she's really talented as far as, like, she's worked in some of the best writing programs. And so it's no wonder that this book became a bestseller, because it really was. It's really bestseller work. It's really good, guys. It's really good. I would say this audience she's really writing for here is, I would say this time I felt like the writer was writing for people, Africans and African Americans for once. Sometimes I read these books and I feel like I'm reading a book by a Black author, but it's written for a white person because they aren't aware of a lot of things. But this time I really felt like a Black person wrote a black book to help settle our spirits. Like, I feel like, and she writes about this, how restless our spirits are, how much rage is written in the works of black intellects about the experience of black America, and how difficult it can sometimes be to read. But this one really chronicles the experience, but also the emotions that come from these experiences. And it was so rich. And I just loved it, guys. I really loved it. I will say this is basically like an historical fiction that chronicles, I mean, all the way back to maybe 1580 up to 2015. And I just think that's amazing how well she orchestrated this work, how everything stayed clear and structured and chronicalized in a way that I never really lost a beat. Well, sometimes I did, but she gave us a really good timeline in the first couple pages. So if I was ever confused, I could go back to the timeline, the family tree, I'm sorry, and chronicle where I was and what's going on and who is speaking and what they've been through. So I love that. I cared about the characters really deeply. The dialogue was believable. The plot was incredibly compelling. The events were awe-striking and sad and true. And guys, you have to read this work. Like, it's so good. I could not believe. I read this in 2 days. I started yesterday, and I got up to like 200 pages, and I read under 100 pages today. That's how good it was, guys. It was not, her voice within the work is authentic and true. It doesn't sound forced. You can tell that she's researched and she's deeply affected by the work she's doing. And that emotion is reaching off of the page, and it's what's grabbing your heart and making you also feel so moved by these characters who seem to leap off the page. And yes, you're hearing about, because as an African American person, I think a lot of times you see them go to college and they start being like, well, my people was kings and my people were pharaohs and this and that. And it really is born out of a desire to belong and to fit and to know your history, to be able to fly your flag, right? To be able to speak your language. And so this book, Homegoing, really felt as if I were personally sitting, hearing the stories, hearing the history of my family tree from a grandparent or someone who really wanted me to understand and have grace for the people and the ancestors that came before me. And it's so good, guys. If you haven't read it, I really want you to go get a copy. If you read it, tell me what you think about it. Tell me what part stood out for you, what impacted you deeply about the work. I loved it. I want you to go get it. Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi. I would say I would give this 4.5 stars. One of the best books I've read this year. I want to put it right up there with 50 Words for Rain, The Water Dancer, and Where the Crawdads Sing, which is what I told you guys were also some of my top books this year. Adding this one up to my top 4 or 5. And yeah. Next, I think I also bought Americana. I bought Americana. I forgot who it's by. Chimamanda. Can't remember the name, but I bought that, so I'm going to be reading that soon. And I'm still leafing through War and Peace, and I'm still getting to a lot of the requests you guys made. I'm like, why did I take so many recommendations? But I also I've also been asked to do a Harry Potter review, and I'm going to get to that very soon. So just tell me which book you want me to go on, or if you want all of them, let me know in comments. Anyway, it's been real. Check out the description box. Get to know me a little better. Follow me on Instagram. Buy a hoodie. Buy a book. Help your girl reach 1,000 subscribers. You know what it is. You know who I am. It's the girl, Brianca Jay on Book Talk. Thank you for coming. I will see you next time.